What's going on, guys? Raiden here. Today we got a GB game of Search and Destroy on Radiation. And real quick before I get started, I would just like to remind you guys that are watching this on my personal channel that after this game I will no longer be posting competitive or GB gameplay because I'm going to start posting on Excel's competitive channel. So if you want to see more GB or competitive gameplay / commentaries, go check out that channel, subscribe. The link is in my sub box. So other than that, I'm going to hop right into the gameplay here. So we get offense first, and I decided to hop up in this little red building on our side of the spawn because I want to watch the right side and make sure no one rushes us from B. Usually people are smart enough to not rush while they're on defense, but you never know. Some people try and flank, and we actually do get flanked by one guy here in a second. But I like this spot because you get a good view of the middle for the most part, and then that building in the far left corner of their spawn, a lot of people like to go upstairs in that building and kind of watch over pretty much to this building where I'm in, but also to make sure that no one flanks them from the left side. And you can see right there that we get flanked, but Tyler's there to take him out. You see me chuck a few stuns right here because I heard a guy below me chuck a stun. I take him out. Unfortunately for him, I have Tritons. There's really nothing he can do about that. But anyway, like I was saying, a lot of people like to sit up in that two-story building on my left to make sure that no one flanks them from their right, our left. But we take down 3 guys, and it's 3-1, so we decided to push the bomb and plant because really that's the best thing for you to do if you have an advantage in numbers. It's already easy enough. I mean, it's 3-1. Chances are you're going to win as I take out the final guy there. But also, if you plant the bomb when there's only one guy left, that brings him to you. You don't have to run around by yourselves all across the map to try and find this guy. If you plant the bomb, all you have to do is wait and he'll eventually show up. So that's one thing that you guys need to do if you're playing GB or really just even a pub search and destroy match. If you have advantage in numbers, plant the bomb. But we switch on defense here, and Radiation is one of those maps where defense isn't extremely unbalanced. Usually on a lot of the GB maps that are played, search and destroy, defense is usually the best side, and it's kind of unbalanced. But Radiation is one of those maps where if you know how to play offense, you can definitely win pretty easily. So Radiation is one of my favorite maps, and you'll be able to tell that by the final score. And right here, I called out to Lethal that there was a guy below him because he was on the top walkway, and you can see that he jumps down, and I guess he didn't know what I meant, but he gets killed, but fortunately I was there to clean up the kill that he missed. And right here is also a good spot to watch the right because not only do they not see you from the middle, but you still have a clear view of the staircase, and they usually go through the top because if they go through the bottom part of that walkway, you can see them if you're sitting in that 2-story building that I was in. So this is a really good spot to watch the right. The only thing you have to worry about here is people flanking you from underground. Usually that doesn't happen because I know that Tyler was just underground while I was sitting in this window. But you need to make sure that you send at least one person underground, otherwise they can just quick plant A. But fortunately you can hear the people plant in this game, and with the recent patch, the only thing you can hear now is them opening the bomb. But right there I see a guy, I call him out and put bullets in him. I'm just lucky that I was kind of behind cover for the most part, but Tyler's there to clean up the kill once again. We decided to push up a little bit because it's 3-1 odds and we want to put pressure on the other team. And that's a big part of search and destroy, not just in GB, but in, even in pub, search and destroy in general, is putting pressure on the other team. A lot of times in offense you'll see teams rush, whether it's in pubs or GB, and that's just to put pressure on the other team. Because when you're under that kind of, intense gameplay and pressure, you really don't know how to react to that kind of thing. But fortunately, I turn around right as that guy runs by me, and you may think I sound horn him. I really didn't. I don't sound horn ninja. I just, I can hear people reload, plant the bomb, throw stuns, things like that. Tritons can't do everything, so. But we pick up the win there, and here's where the game starts to turn around. And I don't know what went wrong here. Obviously, we're on offense, so we already at a disadvantage as it was, like I mentioned before. But I don't really. I guess the other team just turned it around. I mean, they weren't terrible. They definitely knew what to do. They were pretty smart. But fortunately, we turned it around after these next few rounds because they come back and win 2 straight rounds on us. And the main thing in search and destroy is you need to win your rounds on defense because, like I said, defense is usually the advantageous spot or side, so you really have to focus on winning your defensive battles because offense is always harder to win, and if you find yourself in a hole, usually if you switch to defense you can kind of catch back up, but unfortunately we could not win on offense this time, and we couldn't win on defense the round after that. So props to these guys for coming back. And earlier I saw a guy go up those stairs. I didn't shoot because I was kind of unsure. I didn't really want to. I probably could have killed him, but here I decided to move up a little bit, and I am sitting in a corner. And yes, I am using the FAMAS. That's really the only thing that people use in GB, mainly for its power, fire rate, pretty much anything. You'll see a G11 every now and then, maybe a 74U, but that's about it. And I may be playing like a pussy, but that's really the way you have to play, especially in Search and Destroy. I don't play this way in any other game type, but in Search, when people take the game really slow, you have to play pretty slow. So, as you can see, 3 of my teammates get taken out, and on the last one, and I take out one guy. But here in a bit, I run into a guy that's sitting in a corner. I had no idea he was going to be there, and to be honest, I don't know why he was sitting in that corner. And, you know, in his defense, I was just sitting in the corner before this, so I guess he knew that I was going to come through that way, and he was there to pick me up. But you can see here I'm 6-2, or I think that's what it says, 6-2. So going into defense, I told him, you know, I said, we got to win these defensive rounds, guys. So we set up shop again here in a second, but he was actually using the AUG, which is really surprising, because to be honest, I mean, the AUG is pretty good, and I know that after the FAMAS was patched, everybody was talking about how the AUG was going to be the new FAMAS, but that's not the way it is. People still use the FAMAS. But you'll see here we set up shop again, and I go to the same spot, and usually that's not a very good idea, but considering the fact that I know my teammates have my back and my flank, really the only way that they're going to kill me is if they win the gunfight coming down those stairs, and I highly doubt that's going to happen because I'm going to see them before they see me from this angle, and unless they just run through my bullets or I have bad aim, then I'm going to win the gunfight. But you'll see that Lethal gets taken out underground right here, unfortunately, and that's always kind of a scary thought when you see that, you know, you and maybe 1 or 2 teammates are left, and it's you guys are against odds. It's always a scary thing. It's always kind of frustrating, but it's just the way Search and Destroy works. But I stick around here for a while because I have a feeling they're going to flank, and considering they have numbers, I kind of assumed that they might try and push around. And I fast forward to here just because it's kind of me roaming around. This video is long enough as it is, and I didn't want to make it any longer than it needed to be. But they plant the bomb at A, and I drop down here and take this guy out, and I had a feeling that there was going to be more guys down there, but fortunately I get killed while I have a stun in my hand, and Delusions takes out one, but it could not take down the other that was over there. So props to these guys once again for coming back and winning 2 straight rounds on us. And that guy was using Scavenger, which is kind of surprising. To be honest, really the best thing you can run in GB is Lightweight. Flak Jacket isn't allowed unless you put it on, but Lightweight, you take no fall damage, you run faster. It's just overall a better perk to use in GB than Scavenger. I don't know why you would even use Scavenger in Search. That's kind of a dumb idea. The only reason I can see for that is getting more stuns or nades. Now here I make a big gamble, and I make the decision to rush because it's 2-2, and I feel like they definitely would not expect it. And luckily I take this guy out here, and you'll see that before that I kind of hesitated. I kind of like danced around a little bit before I ran in there. If you're going to rush, just do it. Don't hesitate, because the advantage of rushing, the whole point of rushing, is to get to a position faster than the opponent and surprise them by being there first. And luckily I still had the element of surprise, but if I would have waited any longer, that guy would have killed me as I was running up those stairs. But when you rush and Search and Destroy, you want to rush when they least expect it. Obviously, the first round is a little bit obvious because it's the first round, you have nothing to lose, the score's tied 0-0. And I get a nice little turn on there. Luckily, Tyler called them out. But I've killed 3 guys so far, and we're looking for the last one. So we go ahead and plant. Like I mentioned before, we have the advantage in numbers, so we plant the bomb to put pressure on this last guy. And I kind of failed the drop shot there. But as you can see, my gamble paid off, because not only did we win the round, but I picked up the ace as well. So, but as I was saying before, you want to rush when they least expect it. I knew that the game was tight. It was 2-2. We were on offense, and we had played the first 2 rounds of offense really slow before that. I knew they weren't going to be expecting anyone to rush, so I decided to take a little bit of a chance and rush B, and it definitely ended up working out because not only did they not expect it, but we picked up the round win. And a lot of that, too, has to do with how much faith you have in your teammates. I know that if I rush in and die, my teammates have the ability and the skill set to come back from a 3-4 deficit and win. And you can see me laying in the corner here in the grass. I know, kind of a pussy thing to do, but hey, at least I'm not using Ghost, right? This is another pretty good spot. This is kind of a spot that you wouldn't expect because no one's going to run through underground and come that way to check to see if a guy's laying on the ground right there. But I pick up a guy from the middle there. He was trying to rush, and fortunately for him, I was sitting in the corner of the grass, and obviously he didn't expect that. But I fast forward a little bit here because we're down to 2 guys. I think at this point they had 2 as well, or maybe 3. But in this kind of situation, it's always kind of tense, and right there, Delusions gets taken out, and this is where I'm by myself. So I fast forwarded again. Now, playing by yourself and clutching by yourself is something completely different than running around with your teammates, and you'll see that I see that guy right there run into B. I don't shoot because I don't want to give away my position. Now, I have a feeling they're going to plant the bomb at B, but I don't want to rush in there yet because I know that if I would have fired shots, I probably wouldn't have killed them before I ran in the doorway, and then they would have known where I was. So I'm going to let them plant the bomb at B and kind of let them think that I don't know they're planting B. But I immediately make my way to B, and here's the big thing. You have to be aggressive when they plant the bomb. When you are by yourself and they have the advantage numbers, you have to play like you want to win. You see me, I rush straight in. I don't waste my time roaming around, crouch walking, make sure no one's around me. I go in there aggressive, and aggressive isn't the same thing as playing reckless, going in there guns blazing, firing from the hip, expecting to kill people. You'll see right there, I dropped down and went through the other way, and that's probably what saved me, because if I would have kept going through the control room, that guy probably would have seen me through the window and taken me out. So, good move on my part, and I'm not saying that out of, like, arrogance. That was completely random. I just went that way just because, and ended up working out, and I got lucky. But anyway, guys, that's the end of the game. My final score was 13-2, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you want to see more of these GB analysis. I don't know how to say plural analysis, so let me know if you want to see more, guys, and I hope you have a good day. I'll catch you later.